The next EA Star Wars game was set to release between 2021 and 2022, but if the news of the day is correct, we'll be getting the next Star Wars game titled Star Wars Squadrons this fall of 2020 this year. This game is being made by EA Motive and is focused on multiplayer space combat. There's a small campaign to this game, but it seems to be short and a few hours long, which is no surprise since EA Motive also created the campaign for Battlefront 2. Jeff Grubb, who has inside information about the game, revealed more about the mentality EA had when making the game. Here's his quote. It's worth noting that this game is a direct result of EA wanting to release a new Star Wars game relatively quickly. Executives deemed other Star Wars projects too ambitious or requiring too many years of development, so set your expectations accordingly. So it seems like EA wanted to try to fill the gap between 2019 and 2022, and it looks like they're going to succeed at that goal. Jedi Fallen Order released in November of last year in 2019 and became a huge success for EA and Respawn. This year we're already getting the LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, but that game isn't being made by EA. Star Wars Squadrons, though, is the next game by EA, now releasing this year, this fall, to fill that 3-year-long gap between Jedi Fallen Order 1 and 2. The sequel to Jedi Fallen Order is likely to release in the fall of 2022, just like the first game. And it seems like EA, I would hope, may try to stick to a yearly release schedule for some of these Star Wars games. I know right now it's just 2019 and 2020, we're getting 2 EA games back to back. That hasn't happened yet. 2015 we got Battlefront, 2017 we got Battlefront 2, 2019 we got Jedi Fallen Order, and now in 2020 we're getting Star Wars Squadrons. Will we be getting another Star Wars game a year from now in 2021 to continue that year-long cycle? I don't think so. I think this is going to be the void to fill for EA up until Jedi Fallen Order 2 releases in now 2 years. So far, my concerns for the game are that it seems to be set in the original trilogy era of Star Wars instead of multiple ones like the prequels and the sequels, and that isn't a huge deal, but considering EA's track record, where Battlefront 1 was only the original trilogy era, Battlefront's 2 story was mostly original trilogy era, and Jedi Fallen Order is also set in the original trilogy era, and now it seems this game is also set in the original trilogy era. It would be nice to change things up for once, and they're doing what Lucasfilm has been doing for the past, God, what year is it now? 2020? For the past 8 years, they've really only released content, at least book and comic book wise, set in the original trilogy era. They finally, over the past 2 to 3 years, have expanded a little bit outside of it. I would say the past year and a half mainly. They've expanded a little bit outside of the original trilogy era. But that's all we've been doing with the video games and the comics and the spin-offs and all that stuff. I want to get out of that, and I want to change something up, and it doesn't seem like they're going to do that up until Jedi Fallen Order 2, which that probably will still be in the original trilogy era. So I wish EA would break that pattern of the original trilogy era, but I'm pretty confident my second concern about this game is a correlation of my first concern about this being set in the original trilogy era. I think they only did the original trilogy era because of the rushed development this game had, and that's my concern. It's clear that EA wants to cover lost time for canceling Ragtag, which was a Visceral Games game that they were making. It's an open world Star Wars game about being a scoundrel, and it sounds amazing. They also canceled a 3rd Star Wars Battlefront game that was in development as well, and I think there was 2 other projects that they had being worked on in the Star Wars universe that they canceled simply because they took too many years to develop. They were too ambitious in terms of story and what they were going to do, and also I think because the fans wanted it. If the fans want it, it doesn't seem like EA is going to do it. If EA had simply had faith in their developers and let the games that fans truly wanted to be release, I don't think they would have to do what they're doing now with Star Wars Squadrons, which is release a game an entire year earlier than they planned. Remember, when they announced the next Star Wars game release date, it was going to be in fiscal year 2022. That's between like April of 2021 and March of 2022. They had a long time to work with on that aspect, but they wanted to put it out a whole year earlier, and I think it's because they're shooting themselves in the foot. After Battlefront 2 ending all the content updates and Fallen Order basically on hold until the sequel, fans could have potentially gone 2 to 3 years without any EA Star Wars games or any content in the Star Wars game market. So in an attempt to not waste a good IP like Star Wars, EA is bringing you Star Wars Squadrons. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm sounding negative. I'm excited for this game, Star Wars Squadrons. It looks like a fun game, it looks like a smaller indie game, and that's a good little vibe that I wouldn't mind to have in the Star Wars universe. And I will be buying this game and hopefully streaming it and playing it with you guys since it's a multiplayer game and it seems like a fun concept. And I hope it's a fun game that we fans can play until Jedi Fallen Order 2 comes out, because that's a story-driven game. And if history has been any indication of what the fans want, comparing Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2 by EA to Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order had a lot more positive reviews and responses from the fandom because it was a single-player story-driven game, and that's basically what fans want. They want stories in the Star Wars universe. Maybe doing a multiplayer space combat simulation thing might be fun for a little bit, but is it really going to resonate with the Star Wars fandoms as well as Jedi Fallen Order did? Only time will tell. Remember, this is made by EA Motive. They're making a small, few-hour campaign. If you remember the Battlefront 2 campaign, it was probably one of the biggest disappointments of that game. So I'm just concerned that the executives at EA still don't get why Star Wars fans have lost faith in the company that's making our Star Wars games. But then again, maybe they're getting the hang of it. Maybe after Jedi Fallen Order 1, they realized, like they did with Battlefront 2, they need to change the PR a little bit. They need to stop focusing on microtransactions so much, and they need to focus on the story. Maybe they've learned a lesson, and maybe this game will be a reflection of that. I think this game could either make or break EA at this moment. If it's a good game, Star Wars fans may be a little bit more forgiving towards EA. But if it's another flop and it's another drop in the bucket of bad Star Wars content, then I don't see Star Wars fans forgiving EA enough to allow or even want them to get a renewed deal with Disney in 2023 to exclusively make Star Wars content. What are your thoughts about Star Wars Squadrons? Are you excited? There is a new Star Wars game coming out this year. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. I'm Star Wars only. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it does help out the channel. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you, always.